Hey YouTube, this is Raj, and today we'll be looking at how quickly kelp grows in Minecraft. In order to do this, I devised a little experiment. But before we get to that, let's talk about kelp. It was introduced in the 1.113 aquatic update. Kelp generates in any of the ocean biomes. The exception to this are frozen, deep frozen, warm, and deep warm oceans. It also doesn't generate around seagrass. So the uses for kelp is you can put it in a composter like this and it'll spit out some bone meal. You can use it as a decoration, as an aquarium, and you can also put it on your underwater base as a decoration. You can smelt it from kelp to dried kelp, and then you can also, when you smelt it, you get 0.1 XP, which could be useful if you want to use it for an XP bank. Also craft it into dried kelp blocks, and these dried kelp blocks are actually one of the most efficient fuels in Minecraft. It's only less than a bucket of lava and a block of coal. Okay. So just to explain how kelp grows, you don't need any light for it to grow, and also you can't use bone meal on it. Now when you plant it, it is given an age value between 0 and 24. The maximum it can grow to is 25. So what this means is any kelp plant can grow from 2 to 26 in height. Now if you look at this one right here, if you just hit F3, it actually gives you the age of the kelp plant, which is 19. So that means it can grow another 6 heights in height, and it can grow to a maximum of 26. But there's actually a trick with kelp. If you plant it and then you knock off the top one, it changes the value. So it changes to 14. So this means that it can grow another 11 blocks, so it can grow to 12 high. So the thing with this is you can manipulate it enough that you can grow something crazy and absurd like this. So this means you can grow something that's actually higher than 26 blocks. Okay, so now on to our little experiment. And before we get there, I should explain the rate that kelp grows. So every time that the block updates, there's a 14% chance that the kelp plant will grow. Now what I've done to test this is that I've created a containment area for each kelp plant. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run a test which is about 20 minutes or 24,000 ticks. That's about equivalent to 1 day cycle on Minecraft. So we've taken these 10 plants and we've run 5 tests, and we're going to figure out how much each plant produces individually and try to get an average of each test. And here are the results. And if you look, there's consistently 0 across the board with each test. And in actuality, there was 8 of the 50 kelp plants produced 0 during the tests. And if you look, there's also 5, 8, and 6 for highs. Those were exceptions. Most of the kelp produced between 0 and 4. And if you look at the average, it's about 1.7 to 2.8, which is about 1 piece of kelp difference. So that's not a huge range. So if you're expecting a large amount of kelp to be produced in about a day cycle, you're probably expecting a little too much, because based on these tests, kelp is probably going to produce about 2 kelp per each plant. So after seeing those results, I thought it'd be interesting to try it on a larger scale. So this is my kelp farm. It is 20 by 10. So it has about 200 plants, and I did the exact same test. So I did a 20-minute test, and let's see what the results were. So looking in my chest, I have 6 stacks of 64 and 1 stack of 32, so that equals 416. So if you do the math, that's about 2.08 per each plant. So both this test and the other test confirm that you should get a range between 2 to maybe about 2.5 per each kelp plant for 20 minutes. So I kind of wanted to do this test more just to see what kind of a scale of a farm you would have to build. So the last thing I'd like to talk about is kelp as fuel. Now, considering the easiness of bamboo, where you pretty much can just throw bamboo into a smelter and it's pretty easy as fuel, as where kelp is a little more complicated, you have to smelt it and then craft it into blocks. I thought it would be interesting to basically see from this 416 pieces that I got from this farm, how many blocks I could get out of this. So let's see. So you have to put in about 6 pieces of wood, and that should do about the first 9 pieces of kelp to make its first block. Look at the results. So before I look at how much we produced, I should explain to you how good of a fuel kelp is. So dried kelp blocks get about 20 operations, and this could be gold, it could be wood, it can be whatever. All items in Minecraft smelt with the same amount. It's more about how much fuel it takes to smelt something. So having gone through all those 416 pieces of kelp, we produced 29 dried kelp blocks, and we have produced 5 dried kelp. So it's pretty decent. And we'd also, if we weren't in creative, we'd get 41.6 XP, which is about 4 levels. So I think I've gone through enough with this kelp, and if you like this video, like it, and if you really like it, subscribe. Thanks.